so problem 2 is factoring when a times c is negative. Okay, so again, we're going to use our AC method. So we're going to multiply a times c. Okay, so here, if we have ax squared plus bx plus c, you can see that we're going to multiply positive 10 times negative 14. So 10 times negative 14 is going to give us a negative 140. Now, if you remember your integer rules, okay, if you remember your integer rules, if you multiply a positive times a negative, you're going to get a negative. Okay, so that means that one of your factors has to be positive and one of your factors has to be negative. So let's look at our factors, making the first ones positives. Okay, so here we've got 1 times 140, or let's make the first one negative. Then we've got negative 2 times 70. Then negative 4 times 35. And we've got negative 5 times 28. And negative 7 times 20. And negative 10 times 14. Okay? So we also have, so those are with the first ones being negative. Now, for the second ones, we've got 1 times a negative 140. We've got 2 times a negative 70. We've got negative 4 times, oops, no, sorry, not negative 4. We've got 4 times negative 35. 5 times a negative 28, 7 times negative 20, and 10 times 140. I'm sorry, times 10 times negative 14, sorry. What'd you say? I didn't have to do all that work? How come I didn't have to do all that work? Well, because we know that when we are adding, what do we want to get? We want to get a positive 31. So that means that my bigger number has to be the positive number. So I can just go ahead and knock out that entire section over there. Okay? So let's just look at the negatives on the smaller side and the positives on the bigger side. So let's see, we want it to add up to positive 31. So negative 1 plus 140, nope, that's not it. Negative 2 plus 70, nope, that's not it. Negative 4 plus 35, ding, 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 there it is right there. So we're going to use negative 4 and 35 to rewrite 31x. So 31x gets rewritten as negative 4x plus 35x. And then we just bring down the a and the c. So this is going to be 10x squared minus 4x plus 35x minus 14. And now we can do our grouping. So let's group the first two there, and let's group the second two there. And now we can factor out some greatest common factors. So what's the greatest common factor between with 10x squared and 4x? 2x. Good. And then what's the greatest common factor for 35x and 14? 7. Good. Okay. So now we can factor those out, And when you factor it out, it goes on the outside of the parentheses, and then what's left goes on the inside of the parentheses. So we end up with 2x times 10 divided by 2 is 5. And then x squared divided by x is x. And then 4x, or negative 4x, divided by 2x is negative 2. And then on the second grouping here, the 7 goes on the outside, so plus 7. And then we see what's left over. So 35 divided by 7, that's 5x. And then negative 14 divided by 7, that's negative 2. And there we go. We have two binomials that are exactly the same, and that is what we're going to bring out to the outside of the parentheses. So we have the 5x minus 2, and then what's left is the 2x and the positive 7. So that is our second binomial, 2x plus 7. And there's your final answer. And of course, if you wanted to, you can check using your, you guessed it, your FOIL method. Okay, here's your final answer. Very good. Go ahead and check.